Hey everyone, sorry about the chair noise there. I thought what I would do, since I ran my adventure, I posted session 1 of Hunting to Hunter, and I know it's a little messy. It will be better on the second one, I promise, because I'm learning a lot as I do this. But I thought what I would do is I'd do a quick session 1 recap, and to kind of show you what I do after I play my adventure, how I journal it, the type of things that how I can keep my story together. I had thought about adding journaling pages into my notebook itself, but I decided not to do that. Todd Pickens, who is at Deaf Finger LLC, who produces a lot of ShadowDark materials. He does hex books and grid paper, and he has these journals to go with ShadowDark. And so I have one, so I thought I would go ahead and use it. And I think it's perfect for what I want to do. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to do, we ran through my adventure, and you can see that at session 1 if you want to see what I did there and how it all worked. And so after I got done, I sit there and I kind of want to summarize what I've done and get it down. So I am going to move this out of the way. And so what I did was I just go here. I really enjoy how he's able to put, I can do a campaign overview of my sessions, keep them in line. I can go back and add the players. I don't have players because they're just me. They have the characters. I'm going to add those later, especially since now my 0 level characters survived the adventure. All of them survived the adventure, which kind of quite amazing, because the bugbear just whiffed on his rolls, and so they ended up surviving. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to recap the adventure, just to go through it so I can get my head around to it. And so when I go into session 2, I will pick up from there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up in session 2. We're going to do the carousing rules for my group. So basically, like I said, here was my dungeon. Here's how I created it using my ShadowDark maps, and then we played through it, and you can see that all in the whole session. Sorry that it's a little long, the other session, because I'm trying to find a good groove, a good way of doing things, because I want to kind of share also what I'm what I'm doing as I go along, for new people who are into soloing, or people who have mentioned in the comments that they're trying to get going. I just wanted a little bit of that in there. And so, but here's my session notes, and this is my recap. So what happened is, the name of my adventure was Free to Hunter in the Catacombs, and the location was Citadel of the Cursed Skull. And my party, that's what I'm gonna write as my attendance, so that would keep me. So I had Imrib, the ranger, Sharon, the urchin, Ham, the halfling soldier, and Mill, the halfling surgeon. And so what I did with my little party is basically, here's how the story goes, is that Imrib, the ranger, and he had a hunter friend, decided while they were out ranging outside the town of Ironbridge to examine the caves at the Skull Citadel. They had heard about it, they had seen it on their travels, and so his hunter friend, I should have gave him a name, but hey, he's the hunter, decided to go in. And when he did, Imrib stood outside. Imrib is kind of a newer ranger. As you can see on his character sheet, he doesn't have any weapons, and so he just decided he was going to stand watch and be outside the cave entrances as the hunter went in. When the hunter goes in, Imrib stays out. The hunter doesn't return, so Imrib heads back to Ironbridge for help, because there's not many hunters. Just him and the hunter are basically the rangers that outside of the town of Ironbridge. And Imrib enters the Silver Dragon, which was one of the taverns I created in the Low District, and he talks to Carlsby, who is the owner, or he's my main NPC at that inn, so he could be the owner, for help. And Carlsby, who's a halfling, knows of 2 halfling veterans who had just gotten back. Ham, who's a soldier, and Mill, who's a surgeon, who's basically, I consider him kind of like they're 2 halflings. He's kind of a combat medic in a way. That way they can be a group. They agree to help. But also while they were in the inn, the Silver Dragon, Sharon, who's a local street urchin that frequents the tavern, she basically says, hey, I want to help as well. So that's how I get my party together. That's how they come together. And so the party heads out to the Citadel. And the Citadel is a broken down, it's a ruined fortress. You'll see it I use a picture of it there'll be a picture of it on this screenshot before the adventure anyway. But the party heads to the Citadel, and that's how they walk through my dungeon. And like I said, there's 2 different ways to do it. This is a way I was just trying to show people how to use the book and build maybe more dynamic dungeon. But I play straight point crawl hex from entrance, room. And so what happened is that the first room is an entrance, which was I rolled up an empty room. But as I said in the video, an empty room is not a completely empty room. It's a way for you to, as Kelsey says in the book, it's a way to give them foreshadowing, kind of know what's in there, what's coming. And so because Imrid, the ranger, doesn't have a weapon, he did have a torch. So he's the one who holds the torch, and he's the one who's doing the searching on the floor. And he finds prints. He finds 2 sets of human prints and 1 set of a huge print that he doesn't know. And so they learned that at the beginning. They go into the second room, and as they go into the second room, I rolled a sneaky spellcaster, and so in there was a Iron Cell, and he's a local wizard's apprentice who just happened to come by. He had heard about the caves, and he's kind of just started to kind of examine them, and he was only into the second part of it. And so he's a neutral, so I rolled on the reaction check, and he was neutral towards the party. The party decides, hey, it would be nice to have someone who has a little magic. So Anso joins the group and heads into the next part. And so the next part of the dungeon was number 5, where I rolled a solo monster who was a mighty brute. So for my mighty brute, I picked a bugbear. And so the bugbear ambushed the party. He whiffed on the ambush rolls with his giant club, because as you know, 0 level characters have 1 hit point. However, I did, because I'm playing the pulp mode in the book, give all of my characters luck tokens to give them a little bit of better chance, because I'm playing solo. I want to have them a better chance of survival as 0 level characters. And so, but they didn't even need it. The bugbear whiffed, and then every single one of the party hit the bugbear, doing, I think they all did like 2 points of damage to him. And so I made a morale roll. The bugbear fled, but when I did my oracle, it said that there was a twist, and so it came up with forbid memory. And what I did is I just said that the bugbear did not want to go back to his tribe without some kind of success. And so the reason he come into the cave is kind of to prove himself. And so he didn't, that memory of failure that he had before drove him. He left the party, he fled, but he didn't flee out the entrance. He fled back into the dungeon. And so the next one was a 4, which was a minor hazard. So I rolled the minor hazard was dense rubble and debris. And so he charges into the room, and I rolled, and the debris had come, he had run into the debris, it had come loose and it came crashing down on top of him, and he ends up getting killed. And so the party comes into the collapsed room, and I made a roll, and they were not able to get over the rubble. But Imrid has like a crowbar and stuff, and so they kind of cleared out the area. But while they were clearing out the area with the noise they were making, they hear a cry past the rubble, which would be into another room. And so they clear the rubble, they make it where they can get through. The party enters, here's the cries of the hunters, they enter into the final room, which I rolled, which is number 9, it had treasure that was protected by a deadly trap. And so I rolled, and it was, what had happened is the ranger had made it that far, and he went for a tomb that was in there, a coffin, sarcophagus, whatever. He went in there and was trying to grab it, and he tried to grab. He saw a circle gold coin, a gold crown above a circlet on the. He tried to grab for it. When he did, it sprung a trap, a deadly trap that pinned him to the wall. And so that was kind of my freed a hunter. It's kind of funny. I thought he was going to free like a prisoner, but it really ends up that he's pinned to the wall. Imrib sees it, and I rolled to say there was no way they could save him. He was going to die. So basically what they did is they freed him from the trap, and they took his body back to Ironbridge to be buried. And that is where I left off. They're headed back to Ironbridge, and they have his body. And so they did succeed in the adventure. They found a gold circlet worth 40 gold pieces, and we'll work on that at the beginning of the next session. And they also made a friend in Ironsel. And so one of the reasons why I say in the video I started with 0 level characters is because I want my stories for them to develop into their class. I want to use everything that the book offers because it has titles. And so and those titles go with each class based upon alignment and that type of stuff. So I want to see my characters develop from 0 level into their quote-unquote class and develop. And so by befriending Ironsoul in the dungeon, what they're able to do now is that now I can develop a local wizard who has this apprentice. And so if one of my party members is going to be a wizard, and that's probably what I want to do, is each party member is going to have one of the classes. I'll play one of each class. And that way, now I have someone who can train with him, and that will allow that character's story to go. I don't know who that's going to be yet. We'll figure that out. But anyway, I want to do a quick recap. I think this is the way my channel is going to go. I'm going to run a session. You guys can see me do the session in all its brutality and glory, whatever you want to call it, messiness. And then I will do a recap of what's happening by writing it down by using this great journal put together by Todd. But if you're interested in these journals and other products, there'll be a link down below in the description. But again, hey, thanks for sticking with me as I try to grow, not only as a solo player, but as doing these YouTube type of things. I know there's people out there who just want to get started, and I just want to show them my system. And so, hey, thanks again. Have a great day.